what the world is watching.
Welcome for the first time in a while to GWE Wrestling Talk. And for the first time in forever, we're not going to be talking WWE. We're going to be talking AEW, All Elite Wrestling, All In. That took place last night right here in the same city I'm in of London. And for those of you that have never watched before, that don't know the background, as the title of this video says, I am a lifelong WWE fan, and I'm about to give you my thoughts on All In. And so is he. Now, come on, Blue. It's not 500 tons of monkey crap. There were some decent moments. Really? Come on now. Right, now that's out of the way. So, bit of background, again, for those of you that don't watch regularly, that might be stumbling upon this video for the first time. Often, this cat called Blue does appear in his videos. Often, my daughter called Talia appears in his videos. But this was supposed to just be a me video. But someone wants to steal the limelight. Someone wants to steal the spotlight. And that someone is you, Blue. Right, so what happened? Let's see. So I didn't plan on watching it. So there was a few weeks ago where I thought maybe I'll even go, and asked a few friends if anyone was keen. No one was that keen. Tickets were a lot cheaper than WWE events. Wembley is about an hour from me, so there was a chance at one point that I was going to go actually to the event rather than just watch it. And in fact, most of the chances were that I wasn't going to watch it at all. However, the evening unexpectedly became free, and I had the opportunity to watch it. So I finished watching the football. So about 6:20 after Liverpool beat Brentford, I decided to find it online, which I did, and managed to watch it. So I started watching it from the middle of the, I think it was triple threat tag team match. And what I'm going to do in this video is just give some thoughts. Compare AEW to WWE, and look, full disclaimer, I've barely watched any AEW. See some clips online every now and then. I remember watching the beginning of the Dynamite episode where CM Punk came back for the first time, come back to wrestling. Obviously, a huge moment. I've seen probably a handful of AEW matches that have been recommended that I've watched. I've seen, I think it was Sasha Banks' debut, Mercedes Moné's debut. Not a debut match, just her debut. So clips, the odd match here and there, but really, I've never sat through a show. So I started a tag team match, so I'd missed some matches, so full disclaimer, I hadn't seen all of it. But I did watch a good, 2.5, what time did I start watching? Half 6, till about 10, about good 2.5 hours, no, 3.5 hours of the show, which is quite a long show, I have to say. And I hear that the pre-show was 2 hours before, and my first comparator would be, this felt, if you were there, I can imagine it probably felt like one of those really long WrestleManias before they went 2 nights, and maybe 35, which I was at, and maybe 34, 33, some one of those, which I wasn't at, but were long to watch, let alone be there before for the pre-show, etc., etc. So it was long, but I have learnt in my time that AEW wrestling fans generally, and I'm generalising and stereotyping here, are quite hardcore fans. And now I'm being attacked by a cat who's now attacking the microphone. You've got something to say? Just looking at himself, and now he's having a bath. Right. So, yeah, tag team triple threat match. FTR, the Young Bucks, and some other tag team now that I can't remember, that someone might get really angry about because I haven't remembered. So I got maybe with 10-15 minutes to go of this match, I think it was. So maybe it wasn't 6:30, maybe it was a bit later than that. So lots of super kicks. You know, my first observation on AEW in comparison to WWE, which I have watched all my life, 30 plus years, I have been a fan all my whole life. And as you know, I have a whole wrestling channel pretty much dedicated to WWE. But pace, that was the thing all throughout the whole thing. Everything is done at a ridiculous pace. And I don't mean that as a compliment. Everything seems, I don't know if it's rushed, but they just don't let things breathe. And this is just, again, personal preferences. People will be like, this is what I want to see, this is what I want to, I need pace, and these things. They don't let, moves don't get sold for long enough, things don't lie down. So something can happen. And before I forget it, MJF, great entrance. For me, it was a tribute to Apollo Creed in Rocky IV, full American gear, shorts, hat. I had this moment where the American flag came down after they announced him. And then it was just camera cut to something else and it was done. It was gone. I mean, that was a ooh moment for the crowd. Let it breathe, let it breathe. Anyway, so this tag team match, can't say I was entirely impressed. Young Bucks won. Lots of super kicks, some interference by I can't remember who. Anyway, that was that. But I was halfway through the match, so it is what it was. Casino Royale, I was going to say. It's Casino match, Casino Gauntlet match. Loads of different wrestlers, surprise entrances in this match. One thing to say with AEW, whatever they get, 50, 55, 60,000 people, a very loud, into it crowd. These are hardcore wrestling fans, hardcore AEW fans, fully into the show, appreciating the fact that they've got another London show. I have to say, props to the crowd for being into pretty much everything, bar the odd few things that I saw. So again, a lot of pace, a lot of big moves early, but I don't for this sort of match. This is like a random match where two start off and then every random time someone comes in. It's a bit like a Royal Rumble, but with pins. And it's first person to get a pinfall or submission, I'm assuming. They didn't explain the rules either, which is ridiculous. We've always got this joke about how they explain the Royal Rumble rules and why would they need to do this every single year. But Casino Gauntlet rules, you could have explained the rules to me better, commentators or ring announcer, who was randomly Justin Roberts, who I'd never seen in years, and I didn't know even he was the AEW ring announcer until yesterday. But yeah, it just was good. So Nigel McGuinness and other people that I've never heard of, random appearances from people. Crowd loved it. Crowd loved all the different appearances. Crowd loved the action. Big spot after spot after spot. And I think the big debut, which was spoilt by online, I think, with that Ricochet. I think it was given that this was going to happen, but I think it was confirmed by a news report just a few days before that he'd officially signed. So Ricochet debuted as Ricochet in their couple of big spots straight away for him, and then I can't remember seeing him again in the match. And no, I'm not making fun, but isn't that what AEW fans said? That was the problem with him in WWE, that he wasn't used properly and he was only used for spots. Isn't that what happened in the Casino Gauntlet match? I don't know. Anyway, in the end, Christian wins with the help of a dinosaur. That is actually true. Watch it if you don't believe me. Christian won with the help of a dinosaur, Luchasaurus or something. Next match, the MJF versus Will Ospreay match, which is probably the match that if I wasn't planning to watch it, I would try and dig out and watch, because I've heard about the amazing 60-minute match or 59-minute match that they had. I didn't watch it, but again, I want to see the first was about Will Ospreay. I do think, to say MJF, I do think is a star, and he would easily be a star in WWE. He's the one that I look at in AEW that easily translate to huge star potential. And I'll have to cut down on the swearing, but I can do that. He doesn't need to swear to get heat or to get the thing. So I think MJF, which is probably not surprising for most people, and it's what everyone would say. But he carries himself like a star, wrestles like a star. Again, what I would say, a good match, and a victory for Will Ospreay, which I think evens him out to 1-1 now, and I'm sure there'll be a rubber match at some point later in the year. But what I would say, again, and it's my personal preference, there's a lot of no selling. Not a lot, but there's a lot of, getting up quickly after that, which is, again, personal taste, preference, and I know it's a thing that Will Ospreay does. But I'm not sure it makes for an amazing match. And again, people, Dave Meltzer, other people, fans of AEW, fans of not WWE, will say this is great and this is what they want to see. But again, the speed, the pace, it's like you don't let big moments thing. I've mentioned already the flag, the entrance. Great entrance from both of them, particularly MJF, I thought. Didn't let it breathe, in my opinion. And that's something that I think is a valid criticism of AEW. That's not tribalism, that's not that. Again, it's a preference thing, but we have to be honest there. WWE quadruples the attendance, the viewings, probably more than that. The scope of it, the size of it. It's all right, let me rephrase, have a cup of tea, sip of tea. WWE, huge, massive company, around for a lot longer than AEW, get all of those sorts of conversations. AEW done brilliantly well to get to where they are, get that conversation as well. And they have amazing, to get this many attendance in Wembley, to get that many attendance in Wembley last year, to get the TV numbers they were getting, and even still now that they're getting, the attention that they're getting, the wrestlers that they've got over from WWE and from other places and that they built up themselves, amazing. So that is not my criticism here, as much as sometimes I do joke about it. My criticism, when people will say, well, it's a preferred taste, it is a preferred taste, but then there's a lot of chat from Tony Khan and AEW fans and AEW people about them competing with WWE and then that. So then, for them to do that and to try and get the numbers at WWE, maybe there are a few lessons that AEW could learn. And again, my point of view, not a, it's just as a fan, as a long-term watcher of wrestling, and as now having a daughter who just turned 9 this week, who has watched for quite a few years now, and seeing what gets her into wrestling and the storylines, etc. Maybe to get appeal to a wider audience, if they want to break that million viewership, if they want to get the big attendance again in America, if they want to do stadium shows in America, or regular stadium shows, maybe there's some validity in this. So pace for me, again, letting certain stuff breathe. And again, one thing that really struck me as something that they could learn from WWE, and this to me is really, I think, I make videos, so I think this is really straightforward. And again, I think no one in the world makes better hype video packages than WWE. So I'm not saying it has to be that, but the hype video package was so quick. Even that was so quick. It was so fast, and it didn't need to be so fast. Let it breathe, let the song play out, let me, who has not watched any of the build-up, bar a couple of clips, get into a story, understand what's happening here, build up the story. And I don't think anyone can deny that WWE do hype packages amazingly, but I also am interested. Write in the comments if you're watching, if you're an AEW fan, WWE fan, hopefully both fans of both. Why aren't they not as good as WWE's, but why aren't they better? Why don't they let you buy into the story a bit more and that? And I know maybe someone will say, oh, well, it allows them for entrances are quicker, they'll have a lot more wrestling on the show. And maybe that's fine, and again, appeals to a certain dynamic of audience, probably that 50,000 plus people who were in the audience yesterday. Is it gonna open them up to a bigger audience and make them a real competitor to WWE? That's just my take on it. So I thought this was probably the best match, this MJF match. I thought it was the best match that I saw on the show. Again, I missed the first couple of matches. Next match again, this is the one I was looking forward to. A big fan, as you all know if you watch previous videos, my daughter's a big fan of Sasha Banks. She didn't watch it, by the way. She didn't watch this show yesterday. So I wanted to see Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné against Britt Baker, and this was bad. This was really bad. And again, awkward point in the card, I get that. People had been there maybe 4-5 hours at the point because of the pre-show, and even if you had him in a pre-show, it's still 3 hours. MJF and Ospreay had a good match, which the crowd were massively into, so the crowd really didn't get into it. It was clunky. I'd never seen Britt Baker wrestle before. They didn't seem to have chemistry. I always used to say, this is like a thing that you say, there were people like Shawn Michaels and Sasha Banks that could have an amazing match with a broomstick. But maybe that's not true of Sasha Banks. It wasn't in this case. And I'm not calling Britt Baker a broomstick. I'm just saying that it wasn't the best of matches. Crowd really didn't get into it. Clunky finish. Mercedes Moné won. Did someone interfere? I can't remember. I feel like someone interfered in every match. But if they did, I can't remember who it was that interfered. I feel like they did. Someone interfered, and I don't know who it was. Someone interfered and took a knuckle duster from Mercedes Moné. I don't know. It wasn't good. It was not memorable, and I almost switched off at this point. But again, it was an unexpectedly free evening, so I continued watching. I wish I didn't, because the next match was the coffin match, and that was awful. I honestly don't get it. And again, please, if someone wants to explain this better to me in the comments, please do. Why the hell did Tony Khan fire CM Punk because of this Jack Perry guy? I don't get it. I don't get it. He is not a star in my opinion, or he's not a star yet. I knew there'd be something about the glass with the whole thing. What happened last year at All In, where CM Punk told him not to use real glass. He used real glass, thought he was amazing, got into an altercation with CM Punk. CM Punk gets fired, has an unreal return at Survivor Series, and is doing mega business for WWE. He's only wrestled 1-2 matches as well. I don't get it. It's taken eyes off, clearly has taken eyes off AEW's product. As I said, the first time I ever watched AEW was just the beginning of that Dynamite show in Chicago where CM Punk debuted, returned. I don't know what this match was, and then Sting came out at the end. It was Jack Perry against, I can't remember what his name was, but the other one, Jack Perry won, someone interfered, Sting came at the end, he didn't get burnt alive. I have to say this, I mean, the crowd were pretty much into it, although there were some CM Punk chants, which it's great, but wrestling is about storylines. There's no end storyline. CM Punk is not coming back to AEW. The heat on him in AEW is worthless. It doesn't get them anything. It just makes it look pitiful, in my opinion. Again, some concentration on that would have been good. The crowd were relatively into it. Main event was good. Swerve Strickland, who used to be in Hit Row, is AEW World Champion against Daniel Bryan, title for career. So if Daniel Bryan doesn't win, he retires. Doesn't win the title, he retires. I thought it was a good match. I don't think it was amazing. I thought it was a good match. Crowd were massively into it, and that helped. Again, that plays a big part. So fair play. It went out as the main event. It felt like the main event. It was good. People, especially towards the end, every time Daniel Bryan kicked out, it was amazing reactions, which always makes a match better. I thought it was a good match. Swerve was good. First time I've seen Swerve wrestle, so that was good. Daniel Bryan's obviously a very good, competent, technical wrestler. I've said this before and people get upset, but for me, I was just never a massive Daniel Bryan fan, even at WrestleMania 30. And that's not a dig at Daniel Bryan. He just never did it for me. I'm not going to call him a B+ player, but he just never did it for me at that level. He's obviously a good wrestler, can bring out the best in a lot of people. So anyway, it was good match. Again, maybe a bit lengthy for me. Went on. Interference by Hangman, I think his name was. I think interference from Hangman from Top Gun would have been better, because honestly, I was like, who is this bum? Obviously, thankfully, the commentators explained who this bum was, and it looked like a hobo coming out of the crowd. But yeah, that again, and I'm not sure that was necessary, but I think that's part prior storyline. Obviously, he's got some history with Strickland. Well, not obviously. Thankfully, they explained this. He's got some history with Swerve Strickland. But it was a good match. Daniel Bryan won. Crowd went crazy. Big celebration with Brie. I said Nikki Bella. He says Brie Bella. Obviously, his wife and his kids, which is a nice moment. 10 years after winning the WWE title at WrestleMania 30, he wins the AEW title. No, it was good. It was good. I can't criticise that match. Again, for me, pace, lack of selling. If you constantly wrestle every match at that pace, and every match has no selling in it, every match has F-bombs dropped in it, every match has blood, which this one did, and several of the matches did, it kind of loses its effect. And I will say this, there was a point when they started having the hardcore matches in WWE, so was this 20 years ago? Maybe longer, roughly, where for me it got, not that I couldn't watch it, it meant nothing. A chair shot, a table, someone putting someone through a table, it just didn't mean anything. And I think that's one of my criticisms, from my point of view again, of AEW, that when you do it over and over again, like when The Rock dropped an F-bomb in Chicago, it was like, oh my God, he that was huge. When there was blood in the same segment, actually, when Cody bled, when was the first time we saw blood in a year or something in WWE? And it's every now and then, and it makes a moment, it makes a thing. Someone swears, someone does that. When it's in every bit, I don't know. For me, it's just, yeah, I don't know. And again, this is what it is for me. So that is my thoughts. So I've put in my notes here, video. So what was good? I thought the crowd absolutely into it. Some of the entrances were really good. Some of the wrestling, Ospreay and MJF was really good, and the main event was good. However, for me, the areas video packages is no brainer. That's not hard. Do that. Get the video package, build up the thing, put it on. This is your biggest. This is your WrestleMania. Use that time effectively, and the pace. Slow it down. Let things breathe. Certain things should be let breathe, and I think this is where WWE's got better under Triple H maybe, and that is a video that I will be doing soon. The difference in WWE pre Triple H. Vince really and post Triple H and some of that was a request from someone, which I will be doing a video on that shortly. So anyway, that is it. That's my thoughts as a lifelong WWE fan on AEW All In London from yesterday. Please drop your comments. I'd love to have a debate. I'll do another video on AEW and WWE in any way, any ideas that people have got, and I will be back soon and with a preview, probably with title of a preview of Bash in Berlin, which is shaping up to be another great international 5-match card, which I love. Again, not for everyone. Some people want 14 matches and 6 hours of wrestling, and that is your call. Right, like, comment, subscribe as usual, please, and I will respond as always. Take care.